In this class we are going to discuss about twisted ring counter or Johnson's counter. So, the only difference between twisted ring counter and Johnson's counter is, so you can see the same diagram under ring counter, but the only difference is, so whatever feedback connection is there in ring counter, that is shifted to here. So, from complement port if you are giving this feedback, so then it will works like twisted ring counter. It will it needs 2n states to flow to get the same state. So if you take in the feedback connection from normal port, that means normal output Q4, then it will works as ring counter. That is the only difference. If twisted ring counter you want, so then you need to take the feedback connection from output to input from complement port. So, now we will see the operation. For this Johnson's counter, it will take 2n states to get the same output. That means whatever initial state is there, to get that initial state it needs to pass through 2n states, whereas in ring counter or shift register counter it requires only n states. So, now we will see the process here. I am considering clock and whatever Q4, Q3, Q2, Q1 are there, that is also I am considering. So, Q4 and Q3, Q2 and Q1. Now, see here. So, when we are not applying any clock, that means when clock is equivalent to 0, so your values I am considering as like this. For example, initial values of shift register is like this. Then how much states is required to count that 4-bit data. So, here I am taking, so that means 1, so Q1 is 1, I am considering 0, 0, 0. Your initial values of shift register are like this. To count that 4 bits, how many states it needs to process by using twisted ring counter, I need to check now. So, now I am giving first clock pulse. Before giving first clock pulse, you need to get ready with the inputs. So, because as this is a synchronous sequential circuit which is having same clock pulse, so all flip flops are going to trigger at the same time. So, that is why you need to get ready with the inputs, then only you need to give clock pulse. After giving clock, if you got output, that output is available for this flip flop in next clock period. For example, if you given a clock pulse and you got output here, that output will act as input for this flip flop in next clock period, not in this clock period, because in this clock period this output is not at all generated. At the time of this generation, the clock is over for this flip flop, that is the reason. So, like that I am processing here. So, before giving first clock pulse, I am taking the reference of my feedback connection. So, I am going to get ready with inputs. So, if we considered Q4 as 0, obviously Q4 bar value is equivalent to 1. If this is equivalent to 1, this 1 will comes here. This 1 will comes here. So, now this 1 is available for this one is available for this 0 is available for this 0 is available for this. When you given this first clock rising edge, all D flip flops are giving their input data to output. That means when you given this one will come to here, this one will come to here, this 0 will come to here, this 0 will come to here. So, that means the output here is equivalent to, now I am rewriting my output as 0, 0, 1, 1. You need to write in this direction, as I am always telling you that MSB is this side and LSB is this side. So, 0, 0, 1, 1. So, now before giving second clock pulse, so you need to get ready with inputs once again. So, as the output here is 0 for first clock pulse, so at the time of second clock pulse, you are having value here as 1. So, this one will reflect here, this one will reflect here, and this one is the input of this flip flop and this 0 is the input of this flip flop once again. So now when I given my second clock pulse, so what these D flip flops are going to do is again pulling this input data to output. That means this one will come here, this one will come here, this one will come here, and whatever this 0 is there will come here. So now write the output as it is. That means Q4 0, Q3 1, Q2 1 and Q1 1. You return the outputs after completion of second clock pulse. Now to give third clock pulse, again you need to get ready with inputs. If Q4 equal to 0, again Q4 bar is equivalent to 1, that 1 is available here before the application of third rising edge. So this one is available here, this one is available here, and 1 and 1. Now I am giving my third clock pulse. When I given third clock pulse, this one will come here, this one will come here, this one will come here, and just I am writing this one will come here, whatever previous this one is there, that will come here, whatever this one is there, so come here, and whatever this one is there, so this is coming to here as output of fourth flip flop. So now, so I am again writing the outputs. So I return the outputs. When Q4 equal to 1, Q4 bar will become 0. Before the application of fourth clock pulse, again you need to get ready with inputs. That means this input will become 0, remaining will attain the same inputs like this. When I applied fourth clock pulse, this 0 will come here, and this 1 will come here, this 1 will come here, and this 1 will come here. If this is 1, this will become 0 once again. So that means, so I am again writing my outputs. So 1 and 1, 1, 0 are the outputs now. Now before the application of fifth clock pulse, I am going to ready with my inputs. So 0, 0, 1, 1. I given fifth clock pulse. So if I given fifth clock pulse, you need to take 2n clock cycles. So I given fifth clock pulse. So that means if I given fifth clock pulse, this 0 will come here, and this 0 will come here, this 1 will come here, and this 1 will come here. So now if this is 1, this will become again 0. So now I am writing outputs again. 1, 1, 0, 0 are the outputs order, 1, 1, 0, 0. Next, after application of sixth clock pulse, what is going to happen? So before application of sixth clock pulse, again you need to get ready with inputs. If I applied sixth clock pulse, so this 0 will come here. So this 0 is going to come here, this 0 is going to come here, this 1 is coming to here. If this is 1, again this is equivalent to 0. So now again writing my outputs 1, 0, 0. So you can see the outputs order 1, 0, 0. So if 0 is there, you need to get ready with 0 for next clock pulse application. That means for the 7th clock pulse application, you need to get ready with your inputs. I applied 7th clock pulse. This 0 will come here, and this 0 will come here, this 0 will come here, and this 0 will come here, and it will becomes 1. So now, so after application of 7th clock pulse, so you are going to reset, but your initial value is not reset. That means your counter is not going to stop. So now, so 8, you need to apply one more clock pulse. How many clock pulses you need to apply means, so up to where you are getting your initial value, up to there you need to apply your clock pulses. That means, so this time before application of 8th clock pulse, you need to get ready with this one, and all the inputs are available. And if I given my last clock pulse, 8th clock pulse, then this 1 will come here, and this 0 will come here, this 0 will come here, and this 0 will come here. This will become 1 as it is. Now you can write the outputs 0, 0, 0, 1. So 0, 0, 0, 1 means, so the initial state is repeated here, then counter stops counting. How many states it's passed through means it's passed through 8 states. That means here this is a 4-bit counter, 4-bit twisted counter. The number of states is 2n states. The number of states are 2n. And for example, what is the each state frequency if they are asking? Each state frequency, this is very important theoretical question in gate-like exams. Each state frequency for a twisted ring counter is equivalent to total frequency or f by 2n. So, total states are 2n. Total frequency by total states will give you each state frequency. That means f by 2n will gives you each state frequency of your twisted ring counter. For example, if you want each state frequency for a ring counter, then total frequency by n states. So, for a simple ring counter, each state frequency is equivalent to total frequency divided by number of states is n. In normal ring counter and shift register counter, as the total number of states are n, then each state frequency is equal to f by n. For a twisted ring counter or Johnson's counter, so each state frequency is equivalent to total frequency by 2n, as the number of states are 2n. For a asynchronous counter or basic synchronous counters, as the number of states are 2 power n, for asynchronous counter, total states are 2 power n. So, each state frequency is equivalent to total frequency by 2 power n. These 3 formulas are very important for you in gate point of view. They are asking theoretically and they are asking with values. So, these 3 formulas are very important in case of flip-flops and counters. That means, so what is the each state frequency for asynchronous or basic synchronous counter? They are not asking basic synchronous counters, they are asking for synchronous counters or ring counter or Johnson's counter. So, they are asking ring counter and Johnson's counter under synchronous counters. So, obviously, you need to take for asynchronous number of states are 2 power n and each state frequency formula will be like this, as number of states are 2 power n. For ring counter, number of states are only n and each state frequency will be like this. For a twisted ring counter, number of states are 2n and you need to consider your each state frequency as total frequency by 2n. Like this way you are going to deal the problems related to counters.